Hi there, I'm Peter Millard, and this is 10 Minute Workshop, where 10 minutes in the workshop is never enough. It's never 10 minutes, and it's never 10 minutes wasted, which is just as well, because we're running out of time. This is the last in the Christmas gift ideas series of videos, and it's coming up next. So yeah, the last in this particular series of these gift ideas. This is a really quick one because we're running out of time basically. What we're going to do here is a very simple little iPad or large phone stand or holder, something you can pop your phone or your iPad in to either watch while you're sitting down or with a different height to watch while you're standing. So it gives you two options, two different levels. It's made from 12mm and 18mm birch ply, shocker. Of course, if you've got something nicer, use it. But we start by getting a sheet of 12mm half-inch birch ply under the track saw. For these stands, I'm ripping a 125mm or 5-inch strip of birch ply off my sheet, then setting my saw to 12.5 degrees and making a bevel cut on both edges to make our baseboard. Next, I'm using a scrap of pliers gauge to rip a pair of 12mm strips from the base, and I'm using the rest of the board to support the track. After checking the angles are still okay, I'm cleaning up the thin strips with sandpaper, then gluing them onto our baseboard, clamping them in place carefully so they don't move. With the clamped base out of the way, I've switched to 18mm ply and I'm cutting a narrow centre strip, again bevelled on both edges. At this size, the centre strip needs to be around 28mm wide at its narrowest face. With the base section out of its clamps, I'm cleaning up the edges with a track saw. Then offering up the centre section and trimming this to length. Then gluing it in place using offcuts of 18 and 12mm to get the spacing right before clamping it up carefully. Once unclamped, the whole thing gets a quick rub over with an orbital sander, not forgetting to get right inside each of the channels. So that's that. It's given a basic sand. We can chop this up into lengths. And then get a coat of wax on it. I've set the mitre saw to match our 12.5 degree bevel, and we're cutting tablet and phone size lengths from our profile, swapping ends to keep the bevel consistent, and finishing off with a small random orbital sander. And finally, a good coat of beeswax to bring out the best in the ply, not forgetting to work it well into the inside edges of the channels. So a final little buffing off of the wax, and I think that's us done. If you wanted to finish these up really nicely, you could put a square of self-adhesive felt onto the back here. I quite like leaving them a little bit rough actually, because it means they're not quite so slippery, and the whole thing is fairly slippery and smooth. So I quite like having a slightly rougher surface when it's sitting down on something. Again, it's a really simple, easy little thing to make because of the 12 and 18, half-inch and three-quarter-inch gaps. You can have it either a good angle for sitting down or a better angle for standing up, depending on the size of your iPad and whether it's in a case or all that sort of thing. Gives you a little bit more flexibility. I've made a few of these for clients, both in birch ply like this and with scraps and offcuts of oak or whatever else I've got. And they've generally been very well received. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed this series. If you have, give it a thumbs up, share it out amongst your friends, and do consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Hey, just check back every Friday when there's always something new up at noon. But that's it for this video and this series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.